So we want, just for a moment, because this has been intense and a little bit heavy, we want you to understand how really beautifully and easily this all works. We want you to realize that your inner being does know everything that you want and where you are in relationship to it. And this is the most important thing that you'll hear from us all day. Your inner being knows what the path of least resistance is between where you are and where you want to be. Say it again. Your inner being knows where your path of least resistance is. Your inner being understands your path, and your inner being understands the resistance that you've put on the trail. Your inner being is not upset about the resistance that you put on the trail. Your inner being is aware of the resistance that you put on the trail, but your inner being is navigating you around the resistance that you put on the trail. Because your inner being knows you don't have to go back and clean up that resistance. You just can't look at it without it being a blockade that will not let you move along your trail. Does that make sense to you? You don't have to go back and clean things up. You just have to get tuned into your inner being, who will guide you through the path of least resistance to what you want. Your inner being never says to you, gotta go back and clean that up. You've got to go back to the time that you were 10, and you've got to confront those demons, and you've got to bring them out into the open, and you've got to find a new place. No. That's not what your inner being is saying, and that's not what we're saying to you, and that's not what we wanted to happen to you. But if there's resistance on your trail that you keep tripping over, then you either got to get rid of the resistance or, and this is the better option, you got to get rid of the resistance. First of all, friends, you can't. So give that up. You got to do one of two things. You got to give up the resistance. You can't do that. You can't undo that. You can't stop remembering things. You can't not see a photograph and not remember what it meant, or hear music and remember what it meant. In other words, you're not going to undo that resistance. All right? You're not going to undo that resistance. You're not going to have not lived what you've lived. How about that? You're not going to unlive what you've lived. Nor would you want to, because you put the other end of it in your vortex, which is calling you. You put the do want in your vortex, which is calling you. So your vortex, your inner being, are calling you toward what you are wanting. And even though all that resistance is peppered all around on your trail, your inner being says, come this way, come this way, come this way. Meet this person, see this, see this, see this. Your inner being never says, get rid of it. Your inner being says, ignore it. Your inner being says, come this way. Come this way, 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 come this way. And you say, but what about this that I did? Or what about this that I said? What about this that I thought? That's resistance that your inner being is not asking you to focus upon and make more. Your inner being is saying, come this way, come this way, come this way. Can you feel how many things that we have accomplished today in terms of an understanding of what's going on with this business of creating your own reality? And the most significant thing here, and it is hugely significant, is that when you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. And your inner being is always calling you there. And when you feel anger, it's because you're not going the way your inner being would have you go. You're stopping to examine the resistance. Ooh, I think I need to talk about this. Your inner being says, we're not talking about it, but I think I need to talk about it. I think I need to repent about it, or I think I need to ask forgiveness about it, or I think I need to unlive it in some way. And your inner being is saying, take your attention away from it, and it will no longer exist as a vibrational factor in your experience. You say, yeah, but it was big. And your inner being says, doesn't matter how big it is, take your attention away from it, and it will no longer exist as a vibrational factor in your point of attraction. You say, yeah, but it was really, really big. Your inner being says, it doesn't matter how big it is, take your attention away from it, and it will no longer exist. There's no law of exclusion, and there's no law of redemption, and there's no law of repentance, and there's no law of unliving, and there's no law of undoing. There is only the law of attraction, which is responding to who you are. And this is the thing that we want so much for you to understand: who you are. That's what you said. Who am I? Who am I? You're a source energy being in a physical time-space reality with a vibrational part of you that is so huge and calling you. That's who you are. You are liquid love. And when you are not loving, then you're off of who you are. You are happy. And when you're not happy, then you're off of who you are. You're easy. And when you're not easy, you're off of who you are.
Feeling good is your birthright. And your spiritual practice is the key to feeling good. To do it well, keep watching the next part of our video.
An understanding of where your inner being is. So where is your inner being? Your inner being is consciousness. Your inner being is focused consciousness. And what is the subject that your inner being is focused consciousness upon? Your vortex. And what does your vortex feel like to you? Your future. But what is it really? Your now. It's your now. All of your power is in the now. So as you find ways to think about things like your inner being thinks about things, then you are in perfect receiving mode to where your inner being is. And then and only then can your now become your manifested now. The universe is not going to change for you.
Okay.
You are not going to be able to say, I don't want contrast anymore. But what you could do yourself a big favor and love the contrast. We get why you would want to do that, but that's not how it works. You can't be a different vibration than you are. You can't be a big vibrational jump, but you can be a segment intending vibrational jump. The truly practical approach is by acknowledging that you're not ever going to get it done, so there is no ending place to be. You know what the most pragmatic thing is that we want you to acknowledge is that you're not going to get it done, and it all has the potential of being fun. The way you're describing it, or the way you're asking about it, it would be like getting into a vehicle and you're going to take a road trip. Let's say that it's a 1,000-mile road trip, and you have some ideas of what you're going to do when you really get to your destination, because there are people that you care about that are going to be there and meet you. But the whole time you're making that journey, which is a 2-day at least journey, you are not having a good time because you're not where you want to go. You want to just transport yourself and be there because you want to get to where you want to go, and you're not having any of the journey to get there. And what we want you to acknowledge is that there is a journey, and it has the potential of being as good as you'll let it be. And just because it's not all the way to where you want to be doesn't mean that there aren't things that you will enjoy about it. But there are certainly not going to be any enjoyment on that 1,000-mile journey unless you decide to look for enjoyable things about it. That's the very best thing that you can do for yourself. Decide that you're going to enjoy where you are on your way to where you'd rather be. But what you're saying to us is, I don't really want to enjoy myself on my way to where I'd rather be. I'd just rather be where I'd rather be. If you go on that 1,000-mile journey, and you've been on that 1,000-mile journey, and you know there's not much to see, and you know there's not very many good restaurants along the way, and you didn't have a good experience, and somebody picked your pocket at that rest stop or whatever, so you're taking the same old you with the same attitude as the last journey, then it's going to be a miserable 1,000-mile journey, just like that's always a miserable 1,000-mile journey. And when you get to the end of the miserable 1,000-mile journey, it's not going to be all that much fun meeting up with your friends, because you're not vibrationally really up to speed with them. They're not going to be able to magically transform you into a different person. But if you've stepped into that journey with new segment intending, if you're new on this journey instead of old on this journey, if you've got a new vibrational intentionality on this journey rather than the old stuff, now you're going to rendezvous with a sunrise like you've never seen before. You're going to rendezvous with maybe someone at the rest stop or someone in the restaurant who's going to really activate something within you. You're going to rendezvous with the blossoming of cactuses out in the desert, and you're going to stop and see something beautiful that you've not seen before. Somebody's going to have their little dog get loose off the leash, and the little dog is going to come over and play with you a little bit. All kinds of things can happen on this new 1,000-mile journey that you've made many, many times before, because you're new in the journey. Because you've segment intended. And every time you segment intend, then your expectation of the newness is there. And when your expectation of newness is there, then you've unleashed the magic. Because the universe knows everything that you've ever wanted and everything that you've ever intended. And your inner being knows you don't have to be 1,000 miles down the road before the magic starts. The magic can start the minute that you're awake and alive in your body. There are wonderful things that can manifest in your experience everywhere, except for the expectation that you hold that there's no magic for this 1,000 miles. The magic won't start until I get over there. Follow that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Your relationship with wonderful things happening doesn't have anything to do with anybody else who is there or any place that you stand on the planet. It has only to do with your relationship and the things that you've asked for that are in your vortex. because your inner being can give you everything that you want in your vortex right now, no matter where you are or no matter who you're with, if you would let it be. If you would let it be. But you don't expect to let it be while you're on the sucky 1,000-mile desert drive out there. There's nothing good here. Yes, there is. There's the potential for everything good here, wherever you are.